Okay, welcome. This is episode 9 of building a time tracking application with Hypermedia. It's been over a month since I've streamed for the last time, and I think I was pretty motivated in the beginning of the year and it's getting a fresh start, but then just things got very busy and kind of fell off the wagon with it. And so today is a holiday in Canada. It's called Family Day. It feels like a fake holiday, and it's only been around for a couple of years. But I guess they just really wanted to give people a break. And what's one of the worst months of the year? February. And so today felt like a good day to just kind of try to get back into this. So for me, I needed a bit of a refresher myself, just because it's been a month. So before I started this stream today, I've spent some time just kind of going over the code and see if it still made sense. And I have made some changes off stream. My goal was to do everything on stream, but I think maybe I shouldn't be too strict with that because some stuff is just going to be boring. But I'm going to, if you are kind of following this episode by episode, I'm going to go over the changes that I've made off stream just briefly. If you're completely new to this, what are we doing today? I've been working on a time tracking application using a couple of technologies, Hypermedia, curveball CADing. I've spent a bunch of episodes working on an API for this. Then I've spent a bunch of episodes working on the front end for this. Front end is currently React. I experimented with a couple of UI frameworks. Eventually settled on Bootstrap, which in my head was probably not my first choice because it's a bit more old school, and also there I've kind of made some changes along the way. I got some criticism that I used the wrong theme, so before the stream I switched to a slightly nicer looking theme. I think it's called Lux, and it's from I forget what the website is called, Bootswatch. They had some cool themes for Bootstrap. I'm not a designer, so I didn't want to spend a lot of time on theming and all that stuff. I just needed something that works, and if the application is used by other people down the road, then maybe I'll get someone to make a better design for this. This is how the application looks so far on the left. Let's quickly go over some of the changes I've made. So everything I do, every time I kind of work on stuff, I want to do it as a pull request. So if you're currently watching this live on Twitch, then and you have kind of a hard time following this, then you can always go to GitHub after to kind of see what kind of changes I've made. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link to the PR should already be in the description. That will be for a pull request that I'll be making over the course of this episode. This pull request is just the changes I've made in between. Just going to quickly go over the changes here. Big thing is I was supposed to do. Oh wait, it looks like maybe this hasn't been fully pushed yet. Let me just make sure that has happened. Yeah, I did forget. Okay, cool. So, let's go over the changes here. This is not super important. Some dependency changes. So one of the things I did is I removed React Bootstrap. Bootstrap itself is a CSS-based framework, and React Bootstrap is a different project by different people that basically create a React component for every Bootstrap component. And I just ran into a lot of little issues with them, and it just didn't feel right for me, and it didn't feel like this library was on the same level of quality as Bootstrap itself. Also, it's been a while, and I don't fully remember why I felt like I needed it. I think I may have ran into some problems that I thought the React version of this framework would make it a little bit easier to deal with. And as I was looking through the code and saw all kinds of TypeScript errors, I was like, okay, yeah, I think this is just done. So one of the things I've done is just remove this. And yeah, and I think everything is a little simpler for it. Yeah, updated the theme. Also removed the ES build output. So that's a big ass file, and it's not worth committing because this gets generated anyway. So here you can see some changes, and these are kind of like all the changes related to removing React Bootstrap. So you can kind of see that, you know, I used to use a container component here. Now I just use a div with class name container. And yes, I think that is a little bit uglier. But yeah, given that this React Bootstrap didn't really add that much, it really just like, you know, does this stuff. And it's level of indirection, it's an extra dependency. It means that I have to consult two different documentations to kind of figure out, first one, how do I do this thing with Bootstrap, then two, what interpretation did React Bootstrap have? Plus the kind of issues I have with that is like, I think, you know, this is clear, it's much more obvious like what is happening here. So I don't think there's a big loss here. Here you can see is a little bit more of a loss because so here you can see again, this is similar to this. Those are the same sort of divs and HTML elements, except it's now just plain Bootstrap. But one thing I had to do is the toggle open is a function. It's basically to open a navigation and close it again. So that's the kind of stuff that React Bootstrap would have built in. But as you can see, it's really just like, you know, it's 2 lines of code for, you know, it's pretty simple. It's not really, yeah, it didn't help much. Yeah, so those are really the changes for the things I did before this episode, just to kind of also get myself reacquainted with what the hell I'm doing. So yeah, it looks good to me. I'm gonna merge it. I don't have any reviewers yet for this stuff because there's not a lot of people kind of tracking this right now. And yeah, so now we're gonna get started with episode 9. So what are we gonna do for episode 9? For episode 9, so we have kind of 3 main areas: clients, projects, and people. For a time tracker, so when you log an entry, then a person did the work, and it did the work for a client and on a project or something like that. So those are kind of our 3 kind of top level entities. So none of these really have interfaces yet, so we didn't really get to that point yet. So my goal is to kind of make an interface for the clients part of this. So this is the interface there is right now, and that's just completely auto-generated. So there's no kind of like effort put into making this in any way good. You also can only like look at these clients. Oh, there's even some bugs still, and you can't really make modifications yet. So yeah. So yeah, our goal for today is being able to click on this page, see a list of clients that's already sort of working, but then I want to make this look better. And being able to add a client and being able to remove a client. I also want to take a look at the backend for this. So the backend is running on 9089.1 or 8901. So the backend is a Hypermedia REST backend. This is also auto-generated, so you can see the list of clients here. Similarly, these are the 5 endpoints for each client, and then there's some information about the client. The only kind of real information we have for a client is its name, when it was created, and when it was modified. So the interface for this should be fairly simple. Yeah, and if you want to know more about like this API browser and how it works and how this API in general works, there should be some earlier episodes that kind of go into that kind of stuff. So what I want to know first is like I am going to start with the API side of this first. I just want to make sure that so we have a GET request for clients. You can kind of see that also if I do it in a terminal. Clients. There you go. So this is the API. It works. Similarly, we can also go to a single endpoint for this. There you go, client number 1. What I don't know for sure yet is do we have the ability to create a new client with a post request, update clients with and update clients with a put request. I think I'm not going to bother with the lead yet. That's something that can come later. Yeah, so let's just start with that, and I'm literally just going to go to my code. It's like, did I write that API? Because I have no idea anymore. So this is the source for the API. This is the client directory. So let's take a look at the routes first. So we have a client collection, and we have a specific client. Those are really the two that I care about right now. So we have two controllers for that. Collection controller, which has a get request and a post request. That's good. Post request validates. So that means that we can get a list of clients from this API. We can create a new client from this API. The client items, that's a single client endpoint, has a get request but does not have a put request. So this is something that I want to fix. So I just want to make sure that the API is just fully ready to go before I do the front end. So to build support for put, it's pretty simple, and I'm actually just going to go to posts from the collection, and I'm going to reuse that code for the put request here because they're going to be fairly similar. Cool, so we have a schema here for creating new clients, and I don't want to use that schema. I want to build a new schema and also import it here. So it's going to be step 1. Cool. So first thing we'll want to do is validate it. Once we know it's valid, I'm going to, let's see, get the existing client. So let me just write this out a little bit better, just do it line by line to make it less confusing. So next thing I want to do is I want to get access to the client as it is currently, and also before I forget, this is a put request, not a post request. So to get the client with the specified ID, I ask the client service find by ID, and I'm passing the client ID parameter, which is supplied by the route. Once I have the client and I have validated, all I'm interested in right now is being able to update the body, the name, because that's the only property that's really relevant for this client. Okay, currently my API is dead because I'm editing it. So client.name equals ctx.request.body.name. It does not autocomplete yet because the validation is not yet correct. Once I've updated the name, I'm just asking the service to save or update the client. And once that's successful, I can tell I was going to say the client, but now I'm making it very confusing. The HTTP client, so the front end, I'm going to tell it was successful by sending a 204 status. Cool, so we got two reds here, and both of those are red because we haven't implemented those things correctly yet. So I'm going to start with implementing the client schema. So just as a reminder, we have a separate types repository. And let's make this consistent. Types repository is basically a Git repository that's also an npm package, and it contains types that are used by both front and back end. I'm putting this in a separate package because I want those types to be used by both. So this specifically is like, these are the things that we would type as responses to HTTP requests or as HTTP request bodies, so request or response bodies. And yeah, this feels like the cleanest way to share code. We just have one place where we're going to do this, and it's going to be an npm package. So the types themselves are, of course, TypeScript types, so we can kind of see the client new type from earlier. It looks like this. I'm not handwriting those, I'm actually generating those using, because my source for this is Json Schema. So Json Schema is a way to define how the shapes of objects look like. Similar in a way to TypeScript, but it has some other uses. First of all, it's not tied to TypeScript, so it's a good idea to do this for APIs, because now you can share these schemas to any programming language. It is also the same syntax that you use in OpenAPI, formerly known as Swagger. Yeah, so this is a pretty standard format for describing this stuff. So we use these. They also have more features than TypeScript, because, for instance, with Json Schema, we don't just have to say this is a number. We can say something is an integer. We can also say it's an integer between 1 and 10, or a string must match this regular expression or something like that. So it's just a way more feature complete language for describing this stuff. So Json Schema we use to validate on the server, and then we convert it to types. So both the client and the server and validation all kind of use one single source of truth. So an earlier thing that I've made is the new schema. So I'm actually making like separate schemas for when we're creating something or updating something. Except in this case, yeah, I think I will kind of keep going with this pattern, and and create a specific type for a client itself. Cool. So this is client new. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to call this client. Because a lot of systems, they'll have like a type for something, like for instance, an article or blog. But then when you first create it, there's often some stuff that's not in there. So it's very common to see in applications that there's a type for a thing, but also a type for creating the thing. So now I'm doing the type for the thing, which is a client. So there are some differences. First of all, we might now have a modified at. Is in the body. String format is date time. Description class creation date. And created. Cool, yeah, so I added name, modified that, and created that. I'm also going to make them all required, because they're always going to be there. Cool, oh yeah, and fix this. I don't like that these are all, for some weird reason, all 4 spaces. I was used to. So, and it's my project, so I get to decide. Cool, this looks good to me. Let's see if we can build this Json schema. I think I have npm build as a command in here, but let's see. No, npm run build. Let's see. Does that work? Yes. Unexpected token B in JSON at position 0. Interesting. I have. Is it because I still have Vim open? it was. Vim creates these swap files, and it's annoying. Can I just change that to not be an issue? Input schema star.json. Please work. Yeah, okay. And unexpected token, so I did have some kind of error in here. Position 4.3. I wish it said not position but line. But yeah, I must have probably an extra comma somewhere. Yeah, here. It's all JSON, and so it's a little strict. I'd like to change this at some point to just accept general JS or YAML, but this is the easiest. Cool, so I've created the TypeScript types now for this, so let's see if that's true. Yeah, there is a, no wait, there is not a new file. There probably is actually, it's just we're not committing it. So where is client? No, it didn't create it. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it's possible, I'm going to guess that there's something wrong with my build script. Just to be sure, I'm going to remove that asterisk again. So yeah, we are hoping that a new file called clients.d.ts gets dropped here. Oh, I just also want to make sure, is there also a name in here? I'm just going to make sure I really didn't miss anything. Title, client, yeah, that's fine. A client, okay. Unexpected token slash in JSON position 0. Okay, what's going on? No, there's no slash in here. Okay, help me out. What is happening? JSON to TS npx. Did I accidentally do something weird? Oh, I did mess something up. Okay. For some reason, client new became a no. Wait. Entry new. Okay. Okay, I think it had to do with my asterisk and it kind of messed up some earlier files. So yeah, my entry new is now turned into a JSON file. That's wrong. So let's fix that. What's the right way to do that these days? Git restore schema entry new. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna run the build script again. Now, yes, now my source has a client.d.ts. Okay, here you go. Source client.d.ts. Check it out. So we have a export interface client, name, modify that, create that. All works. Cool. Again, this TypeScript interface is automatically generated. I wouldn't fully write it like this if it was just me. Also, wouldn't use t as lint anymore. So it's a bit dated. Cool, so now that works. I'm just going to do npm build. Nope, npm run build, I guess. Cool, that seems to have worked. I'm also updating the version. I've been using the second digit as the episode number, so it's easy to kind of keep track where everything is at. Cool, so that worked. So I'm gonna go back to the the API. And in here, I think, if everything is correct, let me actually, open a new terminal for this. It's always a little bit harder to keep everything organized when streaming because I drastically lower my resolution and only use one screen so everything is readable. So anyway, npm TT API should have this new version now. So let's see if I can do run script start watch. This command starts the server and will automatically restart it if I make changes, and also report errors. Cool. Okay, so this is good. I mean, so far so good. Now let's see if I can import. Basically, I want to go back to my controller now. Here. And also, I'm just going to close this here and open this in the same screen. So let's open collection again. Cool, so here we are importing the new schema, and I'm also giving it a new name there. And I want to do this as well for item. Import client as client schema. Okay, next error is TT types has no exported member client. And I think I know why that is. Is because we have this special file here that re-exports everything. This is the TT types package. You just need to basically create a little index. I'm going to restart the server to make sure it gets picked up, this change. Okay, did not. Okay, so it's possible then that, oh wait, I need to build again. Probably. Cool, so there is gone. My Vim hasn't picked up on that change yet, but that's okay. So, cool. So now we're actually using the new schema. So that means validation should work. So it also means that if I do ctx request.body, it actually knows what's in there now. Created at, modified at, name, and links. So we're actually not using created at and modified at. We are requiring it to be sent to the server. But we're just going to ignore whatever is getting sent and just set it ourselves. We don't trust the client to know when it was, if it has a correct clock. Cool. So now we're at the last red line here, which is actually doing the update in the service. So the service is responsible for doing stuff with the database. And this also, I'm a little rusty here because I'm using connects here, which was the first time I was using it. And I don't really use it in my day job. So I can figure it all out. Cool, so this update function, this create function is very similar to the update function. The big difference is that the create function, it receives a new client, which doesn't have an ID, and it returns a client, which does have an ID. So with updating, I don't feel like I need to return the same object again, because effectively it should just update a database with whatever was sent to it. So I'm just going to do connect stuff. Clients update. I wish the what should we call it? The autocomplete was a little bit more useful. It's just the types are just so crazy with connects that it's basically useless. Name, and we're going to pass client dot name dot where. Oh my god, this is also crazy. ID client dot ID. I think this is it. I also want to make sure. Oh my god, stop it with the autocomplete. I want to make sure that modify that is updated. Cool. So I basically implement the update function. So because that was the last error in the list of TypeScript errors, it starts a server. So that's kind of a good sign, I would say. So let's take a look. So client 1. So this is here's a list of clients. So as you can see here, we have 2 clients in our database that have the same name. Probably went wrong during testing. So I'm going to take one out of 2 and I'm going to try to update it, and then hopefully that works. So how am I going to update it this time? I think in the past I used curl, but I wanted to start using Postman because I think it's just sometimes a little bit too hard to read the curl stuff. But did I install it? Insomnia. Okay. No curl today. Sorry, no Postman today, but I do have Insomnia, which is a similar tool but open source. Okay, here it is. So let's take the same URL here and test it out. Cool, that seems to work. So you see very similar information here and here. When you open this in a browser, you get the HTML format, but when you use any other client, it should return in JSON. So what I want to do is, like, typically when we do put requests, and this is kind of how I usually want to design stuff, is I'm assuming that if somebody updates anything on the API, they will do a GET request, and then they will get the entire response body and then change what they need and then put that in a put request. So I'm going to create a new request for this. And the same URL and a body. And so the API will actually ignore most of this, like it doesn't actually need it. But yeah, this is typically how clients will behave. You do get, you make a change and do the put again. If you want to do a more fine-grained change, we could implement something like a patch request, but that hasn't happened yet here. Cool, so new company name. I'm terrible at coming up with suggestions. What would be a fun company name? So there you go. If you don't know what a bitterball is, you're missing out. Cool, okay, so I sent it over. I got 2 for no content, which normally happens if it's successful. So I would say that's a very good sign. So I'm just going to go back to the API browser here and see, did this get updated? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. So my put request works. Good. So for clients, we now have a working ability to get a list of clients, get a single client, update a client, and create a client. The only thing missing from the list is deleting a client, but I'm gonna skip that today. Cool, so the API is done, so I'm gonna start looking at the front end now. So if you're just tuning in, the front end is built with React. And yeah, by default for any kind of endpoint, we start with this really kind of like ugly layout. And I just want to make something that's a little bit more specific. It's also gonna see, because like this is also, I don't love of how close the word clients is to the navigation here. And I'm assuming that's because I'm doing something wrong. So Bootstrap is is where I get my templates. They're open source, and that was pretty important. Okay, so a container creates padding. Is that what's happening here? Should I put everything in a container or in a banner? It's hard to say. No. So what is creating the space? What is creating the space? Okay. So it's container, banner, row. Okay, I'm gonna try putting stuff in a container. This is, it's like, there's always kind of frustrating with like working with these UI frameworks, is that I could just add padding. But it's, if you use a UI framework like this, it's good to kind of do things the way they want it to happen. So, okay, so it's already called a container. So you think that this should work. Okay. So maybe it's the fact that this is a bare H1. So how does this one do that? It's in a banner. Okay, I'm gonna put it in a banner. Div class. Oh, page header. That makes all sense. All right, we are on React land. Class name, not class. Wow, it made no difference. Okay, what else? So once we're in a page header, we need like a row. All this stuff. It's so much. That seems a little extreme. But still, it's not clear to me like what creates this space. Is it this? Is it this padding? Oh, this could be it. Ah, I think so. Where's it get? Oh, wow, it's a custom. So actually they just added a bunch of padding, just like I wanted to do. Fix top. Okay, let me add that too. That seems like a useful thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm actually adding custom CSS for the first time. So I'm fine with, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so public. Where do I actually add my CSS? Because I've only used Bootstrap stuff so far. Okay, where's my app? Okay, not in here. Where's my index.html? There it is. Okay, Bootstrap. Custom. I think this is how I want it. Cool, look at all the space. Did have to use custom stuff for this. All right, cool. Everything else looks fine for me. So let's go to the router. Where is my funky router? Did I put an app? Oh yeah, I only have one route so far. Okay, so next route, the path will be /client. So as you can see here, I only have a default path. So if it's a default path, it will just grab this, whatever is behind the slash, it will grab that, go to the API, and just render this like default page for this, which is kind of useful for as you're developing this. It's nice that you can just add an API endpoint and then there's already a page for it and you can already see some stuff. Yeah, but I'm gonna totally keep that default, but then kind of as we're kind of building out new pages, I just want to create more custom pages for every kind of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do the /client page next. Clients page. So I feel like this would be a good idea to create a new directory for. So I'm going to import clients page from components clients page. Doesn't exist yet. Clients page.tsx, which breaks the application because there's nothing in here. And then I'm also just copying the default page and putting it into my new clients page. There you go. Cool. So for this page, I'm not interested in the body properties part. So I can just remove that. There you go. Oh, Seep is saying in the chat that the Lux theme seems to have 120 pixel top padding on the body, and I think I couldn't find that in the theme itself, and I think it's actually like a custom thing they just added, so I manually kind of added it myself to my own custom. But it's possible that I'm missing a class on the body or something. I don't know if there's like a top level class I'm supposed to use. Doesn't seem like it, because I think they added the padding top on the body, but there's no class here, so I think they just hacked it in there. But yeah, if there's a different way to solve this, then I'd love to know. Cool. So not super sure what I should, like. Again, I'm not a good designer, so I'm not super sure what I'm supposed to do, like looks wise with this space. And this honestly, this looks kind of fine to me. So I think a big thing I just need to change here is like adding a create new client button. Let's see. I think in the future, I want to be able to click a client, and then from there also kind of get a lot more information about time tracking that was done for the client, because ultimately the purpose of this is the ability to run reports for each individual client. But yeah, for now, all we have is a list. So we're kind of like gradually still building this up. So I think the next thing I want to do is add a button. So I guess, yeah, since it's new with Bootstrap, I'm just going to see is like, can I just add a button, or do I look for a component that's some kind of button bar? Just don't know. Okay. Docs. Components. button group maybe. Is that what I want? Not that. No, definitely not those. Okay. Maybe it's just a button. Maybe I shouldn't overthink this. Cool. So let me just do that. Div button type button. This is so weird. I would have assumed a type button is a default for a button, but I don't know. Class name equals button primary, I think. Assuming this is the primary action. Whoa, cool. I think it's fine. I mean, like, it's not gonna win any beauty contests, but you know. On click, do I want that for this? No, I think actually, can I just use what's it called? A link from React DOM router, because I think if we do internal links, that's what we're supposed to use. Class name. Could not resolve React router. It's probably this. Yep. Okay, interesting. What's here? Property 2 is missing. That makes sense. 2. Where do I want to go? I want to go to client new. That's okay, so it doesn't exist yet. Okay, cool. So we'll use the Bootstrap stuff, so that's good. Boom. Okay, and that also makes sense. All right. Go back here, create new client. Yeah, this works. Oh, okay. Well, that's a little sad. Okay, I think we're getting this like crazy error because we got an error before, and then once there's an error, it just like it can't seem to climb out of the situation. So it's gonna ignore this for now. I think that's gonna be a bit of a rabbit hole to fix. But as long as we don't hit errors, then it should be fine. Cool. So we got to create new clients. So I want to create that page next. So I'm going to go back to my router. And build it. Client's new page. Okay, so just gotta make sure all the spelling is identical. And I'm just gonna copy the existing one, client's page to client new page. Okay. This one's gonna be a bit different. First of all, it has, I'm just gonna give it some title, new client. And also, no longer need these collection links. And so I'm going to use like a different style of use resource. This actually should also no longer use location as path name. This should actually use clients. So let's see, basically we're creating a new client from this page. And yes, this is a completely custom page. Four, interesting. Oh yeah, and that's because so this is kind of a special use of use resource. The mode is going to be post because we're creating a new one. And I think that's all we need. No. So annoying sometimes to not be able to see the full error. We need to have a slightly better setup for this. Normally when I work on front-end applications, I don't use ESBuild. And yeah, I just haven't completely fixed all the ergonomics yet for this. No matching export for import client new page. Okay, I think it's just because it refuses to build right now because there's an error. So I'm just going to open up a separate terminal just for inspecting errors. XTC watch. I think this should do the trick. Oh yeah, initial state is required. Okay, cool. So initial state is we need to basically, if we're doing a post, that means that it won't be normally when we use resource, it will go to the server, ask for its state, and then from there we can kind of make updates. But because we're creating something new now, the server doesn't have a previous state, so we kind of need to give it like an initial template. And that's all it really needs is a name, and we're just going to keep it empty for now. Did I misspell it? Oh yeah, I think it's not initial data, it's initial state. Yeah, there we go. Cool. No more errors. All right, so now I need to build a form. Okay, this looks pretty straightforward. This probably means how wide it is. MB3. Okay, I'm just gonna more or less follow this example. It seems good to me. Turn. Oh yeah, sorry. Let's just add them here. These are always a pain to come up with names. So the name for this will be name client class form, class name, form label, text, class name, form control, ID is form client name, placeholder, okay. Oh yeah, it also doesn't like the name 4, so it will be HTML4. It's also a Reactism. think this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, yeah, it looks wow, it doesn't look half bad. Nice. Seems to scale too. That's good. Cool. Let's do the next one. Actually, there's only one field. So we need value equals data dot value. Where's data? Data is here. Oh, and it's not value, it's name, because that's the name of the form field. Cool. So I guess like there's two ways to kind of handle changes. Either I save changes for any. Nah, I think okay, yeah, cool. I'm just gonna do the correct way. Let's also use a little bit more breathing space. Okay, and next I want to actually store the changes in the internal state once they're when they're made. So I guess we can do set name. I think that's fine. I think in this case, because there's literally only one field, I can just be lazy. Just use this function. Oh, set data. No, I am going to create a dedicated function for this. Never know how to type this. It's some pretty long. HTML type name. React.html change. No. On. No. Form event. On change event. Maybe it's just form event. Yeah. So this needs to be sane. On change is set name. Okay, so far so good, I think. And then we can just do set. Yeah, the easiest to just change the data here is to just do data.name equals ev.value. Is that a thing? And then set data. I think it's like something like selected. No, I don't remember. Current target, or is it just target? I don't know the difference. Target dot value. Value does not exist in event target. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna not care. Because I just don't remember the types. Okay, I also want to see if this change is successful. Okay, not really at all. And I think, kind of relearning all these things as I go, but I think there's a difference between managed and unmanaged components, and maybe I'm kind of messing these up. Because I do think I can do something like this. And then, no, it's correct. Okay, hello. Cool. Can I do something like, I think like 2 characters minimum seems like a good number. Doesn't turn around. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that it seems like things are kind of coming together. Cool. Next one. Then I want to change this label, and I want to move it here. This is part of the form, and I'm going to turn this into a button. Oops. Create. Cool. And what happens when I submit it? Submit. Submit. Let's do it like this. So if I'm correct, then all I need to do is call submit and it should be fine. But I also want to, after that, I want to immediately redirect back to the list. Or do I redirect to the new client? No, I think I'll just redirect to the list for now. So I think I can do that with use history. No, does it use location maybe? No. And I think, how does it work? State that push? No. Should I set it? No, I don't know. Okay. React router set path. There we go. Use history is replaced with use navigate. Okay, that's why. I think, yes, there's been a major version change for React Router DOM, and there's been just an incredible number of subtle name changes that are completely pointless. Yes, maybe it slightly better approximates maybe all the names are a little bit better, but they're basically like every couple of years. It seems like they just break the entire API on purpose to, I don't know, stay relevant or something. Unlike the React team itself, they just don't, I don't think they see the value of backwards compatibility as much. But yeah, they are forcing everyone to kind of update because you don't want to be stuck on an older version of something. Cool. So navigate is just a function. Okay, neat. Okay, did it work? It's my friend's dream company name. Create. Okay, where do we redirect to? Okay, I don't know how that worked. I have no idea. We are stuck on the same page, so that's not good. And it didn't create it. Okay, well, that's at least it didn't create it, I guess. I don't know, is that a good thing? Okay, so yeah, something is definitely going wrong currently. I think I can have, yeah, cool. I can tell Firefox to not clear the log after a refresh. And what happened? Okay, so first of all, I did an options. Okay, I'm thinking that, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that there's something actually wrong with the library I'm using. The React Getting library, which is also happened to be a library I maintain, so it's totally my own fault. But it kind of seems to at least imply that this is just not going to work, and I need to kind of fix that bug before I can continue. If true, if I'm sure, then I'm going to not use this. Basically, not use this. So what I think is broken is mode post, and because I've heard rumors of there being a bug with this, and yeah, grumblings. Cool. Can I stop you right here? Test 1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. Yay, debugging works. Oops. Wow, pretty crazy. No, step over. I think what we want to do here. Oh wow. Okay, it's just goodbye now. Test 1, 2, 3. Once more. Submit. Can we step into that? No? Cool. Yeah, I'm just not sure what's happening here. Okay, I'm going to slightly refactor this to not need this hook. It is a little bit more complex than we need anyway, since we're this hook is particularly useful if you want to just automate creating something and then making subsequent changes after creating it. And we're not doing that anyway, we're just pressing the create button and moving on. So I'm going to simplify this so it doesn't use resource anymore. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna save this state of the application so I can kind of come back to this later to debug it. Cool. Okay, where were we? Okay, removing use resource. I'm going to use client instead. Use client is basically a more general API that's less magical, and it's perfectly fine for this case. Okay, set name. Create client. So here we're going to go to client endpoint and post a new client with name equals name. After that, I'd select to go to the main clients list, navigation, default value is name, on change set name. Why doesn't that work? Change event handler. Actually, it's nice that I get good types for this now. I don't know why that didn't happen before. But actually it's weird because it says it's not assignable to type change event handler HTML input event. Oh, it's because I have two things called set name. Okay, maybe I can just inline this. Seems like that worked, so I can get rid of this. Cool. Okay, so yeah, so this is, honestly, it looks a lot simpler, and I think it is a lot simpler. We didn't need any of the facilities from the original hook, but it might be nice later down the road to show an example of the use resource hook and how it could work for much more complex situations. But I'm kind of happy with this change now because just there's a lot less code now and it's easier to understand. All right, so let's see if this works. Okay, it didn't. Okay, I hope it's like some other error and it wasn't just like me all along. Okay, there's no new clients, so that's something. Persist logs goes on. It's also it's weird that it navigates to the same thing with a question mark. Ooh, do I need to like prevent default or something? Oh wait, I'm not doing anything with. No, I do think I need to do prevent default stuff. You know what? I bet that was the issue all along. It's very sad. Basically, I think what happened here before is that the HTML form itself just submits itself, and even though this code already started running, because the form submitted itself, it just interrupts that code and interrupts any any HTTP requests that are happening, and so I just didn't see the error. It's very sad. All this extra work for nothing. There you go. Woo, it worked. Oh my god. What a waste, what a waste. It's fine. Cool, so we're now able to create a new client. Awesome. Next thing I want to do is basically fix this bug. So right now this is a list of clients is generated automatically, and except the link that it goes to, I don't know if you can see it in the bottom. Oh yeah, you can see my mouse. Oh no, but if I go there, then that tooltip disappears. So if you want to hover over here, you can see what URL it goes to. So it's 127.0.0.1 port /client and then / the whole API URL. So what I want to do is I want to basically remove most of that URL. I'm not super sure why it appends it this way. It is a little strange. But yeah, that's the next thing I need to fix. Can't get around it now. So that is part of, I think, the collection links component. So this is a general component that just takes some API collection, like this one, and renders all these as links. So here we have link to resource state URI, and that's honestly, this is the issue, is that it will just grab the full API URL and just append that, and we don't want that. What we want is, first of all, we want to start the URL with a slash. And then take the URL and paste it behind there, and that's kind of the first step. So target plus equals resource state.uri. I think this is already going to be a lot better, but it's not perfect. Okay, let's see how this works. So if we hover over now, then it's similar. We still get the base URL and then slash HTTP and then the full API URL again, but this I think should work. No, it doesn't. Also doesn't work. Okay, cool. Never mind. Oh yeah, that's because now we start with this slash. Yeah. Anyway, the true end goal of this is to basically take you. Okay. I need to think about this. Apologies. Oh yeah. So basically, I need to strip the hostname from this. So if resource state.uri. Maybe I actually just need a path, and that's it. I think that's good enough, at least right now. Let's see if that's better. So we get slash client 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool, that works. There you go. All right, and now when I press back, it just crashes so hard. It's so wild. Why? Resource undefined. Why? It's so aggressive. Okay, out of scope for today. Back button, need to fix that. Oh wait, it worked this time. Oh, it didn't work now. Okay, I think it has something to do with loading the same resources. Maybe loading the same route twice or something. But it's still pretty weird to me. Because if we load this fresh, it's good. Okay, well, it's going to continue. Cool, so next kind of page I want to do is the edit page, and that one will use resource. So yeah, that should be a relatively easy one. So I'm gonna just the next route, clients / ID, and this is the client page. It's weird that it doesn't like this one either yet. Okay, so the client page. Use client, so we do want to use resource for that. And I'm also going to reuse some code from this. Use location, basically all these is useful. So first of all, we want the location, and then based on location, we'll do a use resource, because we basically want to grab this part and then turn that into basically an API request. So these first 4 lines help doing that. Let's import use location. So we have name and set name. Not going to use that this time. I'm actually going to use data and use set data. Let's go down a little. So we have new client as the thing here, and instead of new client, it's going to be data.name. It's the title of this page. Object type unknown. Okay, that's fair. Use state is no longer use, and yeah. Cool. So I'm also just going to put a temporary type for this. And I'm supposed to import this from our types package. I'll do that in a sec. You can pass it to as a generic parameter to use resource. So the set name function no longer exists. So updating the data with a new name, and the name comes from ev.target.value. Actually, I can just I think I'm already passed this an argument here, which is a little bit nicer anyway. Oops, it's went a little bit too fast here. There, it's prettier. Cool. Instead of create client, we want to save our update client. And we can just hit submit to do that, and then after that we're just going to go back to the client list, just like the last time. This looks a lot like our new client page with the original code of it, but I have a much better feeling this is going to work. Yeah. Anyway, has been lots of weirdness with these errors, but let's see what else is happening here. Rendered more hooks. Oh, okay. Did I accidentally do something conditional? Yes, I did. No, did I? Oh, yeah. So all hooks must never be conditional. So I had some if statements that return, and a use thing like a hook after that, and that's always wrong. Okay, here we go. Cool, back gateway, that works, and it automatically updates. Cool, that's great. So in the last I changed this from default value to value, and I think it was wrong. I think this actually just needs to be value, because what I did wrong that time was that I just updated the data object and then use that object and pass to set data. And this time I'm actually creating a new object and updating just that one property. And I think that, yeah, this basically broke everything. The label for this field is not client, it's actually name. So let's do company name. And let's fix that in the new page as well, because that was a little awkward. Cool, so great, that works. So when I press create, no, not create, when I press save, I'm expecting to go back to the list. Okay, does this work? That did not work. Okay. Okay, yeah, I need to look into this, and I'm gonna do that off stream. I think things are coming together, but it's clearly there's like some weird hidden bugs here that are just super broken, and yeah, I need more time to fix that. Cool, so I think I am going to leave today's stream here. Fortunately, I kind of fixed what I set out to do, which is like I want to create a clients page, update clients, create clients. Ran into a number of problems along the way, and yeah, hope to have that corrected by the time I start the next stream, because that's not really acceptable behavior. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed watching this. And yeah, if you tune in late, after the stream, I'm basically taking all the work I've done today and putting it in a GitHub pull request, and so you can kind of see all the code that I've changed across the session. If you're watching this on YouTube later, then you can just go to the description and I'll have the pull request there too. And there should actually be maybe 3 pull requests, because I've made changes to 3 separate repositories. So go take a look. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.